All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with game number 1 between FXO QXC and Nightend from Fnatic MSI. Both these players are battling it out. They go into the final for their individual group division playoffs, and that person, the winner of the whole thing, gets a shot at the $100,000 prize pool for the NASL Season 2 finals.
Yep, and that is something that every pro gamer strives for, to make a lot of money in the game they love, in the game they play hours and hours and hours every single day, and it may come down to this, Gretorp.
Yeah, it definitely might. You know, what a staggering amount of money. In StarCraft Brutal, we got all antsy for, you know, if there was a $10 tournament on the US East server, everybody and their mother would show up to that tournament. It was absolutely insane. Here in StarCraft 2, it's like those type of tournaments nobody even pays attention to. It's crazy. You know, even like the $100 tournaments, they do get attention, but it's just not a lot anymore. It's amazing how evolved the scene has become, and I am so glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. It is awesome to see. I mean, so much money is out there for these pro players, and they deserve it. You know, they work so hard at this game, especially those Koreans in the East, playing their hearts out every single day, coming overseas, getting some money, and it's good to see, man. It's good to see.
Definitely. Well, we do have a Terran versus Protoss on Antiga Shipyard as our first match. Now, Antiga Shipyard, it's a little bit of an interesting map. I think there are positional imbalances if they go on close positions, but thankfully for NASL, we do not have close positions, so always force positions. That being said, both these players should know exactly where they are, each other are, and they should scout accordingly. Now, I like what QXC is doing. He's actually not opting. Whoa, okay, hold on.
He's going for a command center
first. He's going for a command center first. This is insane, man. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's very risky, but then again, it's a very long rush distance. And if you put down a bunch of barracks right after you put down that command center, you know, you could theoretically get a lot of units out to defend, and it all depends what Fnatic Nightend is going to do here. Has a gateway down, has a gas. He knows exactly what's going on. The probe going into that base, seeing both command centers on the ground. So this is very intriguing indeed. I'm wondering how Nightend is going to react to this.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of different variations to this. You can, well, there's two main. You can either go heavy pressure, or you can switch over and get your expansion. Now we can see a cybernetics core on the way out and a second gas. So this will be some sort of one base all in, and all that QXC needs to do is get a scan in, and you scan to see if there are 2 assimilators or just one, and you see how much is mining out of each gas. And that will give a huge tell to QXC, saying, should I get bunkers, or should I just, you know, go without it and go more macro-oriented? I feel like Nightend doing this is relatively like a huge risk. I would much more prefer something like another expansion or even a double expansion coming out of this.
Yeah, and oddly enough, he's not actually mining from that second gas, even though he took it, you know, relatively early. So that's a little bit weird. He may be going for a fast expand after all. Okay, just now putting guys in gas. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to fool QXC into thinking that he was doing some sort of one base all in. And I say that because he kept those probes off gas for a long time, or maybe he just forgot. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And it looks like the probe is going to go out and take an expansion. So just trying to play the mind game and fool QXC into thinking he's doing that one base all in.
Yeah, this is going to delay QXC from actually pushing out with that one command center. It's quite intelligent play from Nightend. I like the mind games. I don't know if it's too cost efficient though. I mean, you spend a lot of money going that assimilator, 75 minerals, plus all the probe mining that you had to do just to deceive him, and you kind of delay your commands or your nexus, and the command center has already a huge head start on you. You know, it's kind of dicey. I don't know if it was completely worth it, but we'll see as the game goes on.
Yeah, and QXC throwing down an additional barracks. They're going to have 3 racks on the field. It also has a tech lab there and a reactor building as well, creating a marauder out of the barracks. No concussive shells just yet. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But researching stim first, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if he's going to do a timing behind this.
Probably not, just because he's gone the fast expansion. Exactly. It's just for defense, and also it gives him the agency to also use that that tech labs for the combat shields. He doesn't have to get double tech labs if he so chooses. I mean, there are, of course, variations where you go double tech labs in a reactor. That's actually the more common way, but he can go another reactor. I've seen that style. It's been a lot more popular these days just because you're on 2 gas. Well, he's going to tech labs right now, but you're on 2 gas for so long, it can be very hard to spend all the upgrades and with the Marauders and at the same time tech.
Yeah, and QXC got an SCV into his opponent's base, saw absolutely everything that was going on, saw the Nexus at the natural expansion, saw the Robo building in the main, so QXC is quite the opposite of in the dark. He knows exactly what is going on, and we'll have to see when he actually decides to pull this command center into the natural expansion. As I say that, lifting it up and putting it down as natural, so feeling safe to actually, you know, take his expansion.
Unfortunately, his supply cap, that'll give Nightend a pretty big boost, so all the advantage I feel QXC had in this beginning game is kind of being negated for just this one supply cap. And I mean that because a lot of times you materialize the fast expansion, the fast muling into units, and he's not able to produce as many units now. It's, you know, just about 30 seconds cut, or 20 seconds or 30 seconds cut, but that's the type of advantage that you really took. So QXC might have just shot himself in the foot by doing that. We can see the supplies are relatively the same income tab as 36 to 31, and there's a pretty significant lead in income for Nightend. So overall, I feel like Nightend has done a great job at continuing and just, you know, getting the fundamentals and the basics down to bring him back into the game, even though he wasn't that far behind, but, you know, give him that, well, negate that advantage that QXC had.
Exactly, and he's really focusing that chrono boost on those probes, at least for the time being. He's way ahead in that regard, 40 to 32 at the 8:40-minute mark of the game, making lots of sentries, zealots, to stalker, and an immortal out, also adding down a robotics base. So going to be going into Colossi production, I would assume, but hold that thought, QXC doing a push to the front door of Nightend.
Yeah, and this won't be too good if he actually goes through with this. It's really bad, and he should push back. Yes, he just goes up with a single Marine. You can see that Marine is just torn to pieces over there. Yeah. But those sentries, they can segment the army, and the stalkers can go to town on everything. The immortal can go to town, even though it's just 3. You can segment it correctly, have that guardian shield up. But no, he's actually going to press on his opponent. This could be really bad. Stim goes down, and the force shield isn't able to complete. Yes! He kills just about 3 Marines and a Marauder. And oh no, QXC actually presses forward. This is the wrong decision, but thankfully he does have an escape route.
Yeah, that was really nice micro there by Nightend, pulling his sentries back. Of course, does not want to lose those. The mana on those, so valuable. QXC turning around with the Marauders. Just be careful. Doesn't want to be force fielded again, but those sentries don't have any energy, so there's no risk of that happening. And QXC trying to be as cost efficient as possible with his remaining Marauders. It's a little bit tricky to say, but he's going to be returning back to his natural expansion. And